Good afternoon, you all. I've been trying to upload these videos. Let me, no, not that one. I've been trying to upload these videos. Just waiting for you all to come on. Today we're going to be talking about submission. I want to get right into it. You know, um, I want to get right into it. I want to get right into it. Today we're talking about the independent. Now I was given this young lady's video, and we're going to discuss it. Um, I'll play some of it on Instagram, then I'll play some on YouTube, so you all can have context to what I'm saying. Um, but this young lady basically said that she wants the nerd or the square. Now, when you hear women talking about nerds and squares, fellas, this is a indicator of what type of work she's in and what she actually does. Now, when you hear the words nerd and square and lame and all that stuff, that means she's probably in the industry of selling sex, because that's how they view most men, as tricks. Just being honest with you, most guys that come to see them, they look at guys as money, so they view them as a trick. So they're not actually looking at them as men, but more like a human ATM machine. A human ATM with a heartbeat and a pulse. Um, but this young lady, uh, gave her spiel on social media, and so I'm gonna just let you all listen to her. Hopefully, I still have this video up. I hope I do. Oh, I hope I didn't get rid of it. Oh, please be on here. Oh, did I delete it? Well, let me play this one then. Let me play this one. We're going to get into submission, independent women, and all this kind of stuff. So y'all just sit back and just listen.
Been saying this with my best friend for the longest now, to where it's like if you look a certain way, it's like these men act like they are just like, it's always this certain look of female that they'll actually date and wife, because I guess they attribute it to like, oh, nice girl next door looking, like she won't possibly do this or that. She looks good on paper. I can bring her around family, this and a third, and she has the look. She has a very safe look. And myself and my best friend always talk about the fact that we feel as though because we have tattoos, I'm very tatted. Y'all can't see it now, but I have a lot of tattoos. Because we are tatted and have more of like I'm not gonna say like, I don't, I'm trying to find a right way to say it. I don't know. Anyway, because we don't have that girl next door look, men consistently try to fun girl us. These college educated men, it's always them. Like when it comes to like they always assume that we only like hood guys, that they assume that they know our type, and they don't even give us a chance. Because me personally, I like college educated men. I went to college, and that's just what I like. I like nerds. I like fine nerds. I like squares. But these men always assume that my type is like, oh, I see she's tatted. She like hood niggas. That's like, and I'm just like, why do y'all keep doing that? And then not only keep doing that, but then you keep trying to put us in this fun girl category. And the fun girl is this category where it's like, I enjoy having fun with you, but I would never wife you. You don't have the look of somebody that I would consider a wife. And it's like, what does a wife look like? Because just because somebody looks like your girl next door does not mean she's a good person. It's not mean that she's automatically educated. Me personally, in a nice way, I make a lot more than a lot of the girls that they consider like, oh, like successful and stable and have like this great image. But I don't work a job that is like conventional to where it's like, oh, well, I can brag about what kind of job she has. So they just always want to fun girl me. And I am tired of people assuming that I like a certain type of guy and wanting to fun girl me, because personally, I want a family and commitment and a relationship and all of those things. I want to get married. And I'm tired of people assuming that because of my look that I'm a fun girl. I know how to have fun, but don't stop fun girling me. I have the money, so I know that some people are gonna be like, "Oh, why you put that nasty money on your bed?" As long as it doesn't touch the under part, like the sheets and stuff, I really don't be caring. Like when I'm at home and I count my money, I count my money on top of my bed, but on top of the comforter or on top of whatever I am. I don't care as long as it doesn't touch the part where my clean body is going to touch. So if it's on top, like right now, I have the money sitting on top of this comforter. As long as it doesn't touch the side that's going to be touching me after I shower, I don't care. And I like to count my money in places where I am comfortable, because sometimes, I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't want to be sitting on a hard ass floor or sitting propped up in a chair. I'd rather just be sitting on top of the bed. So I have this first 400 right here. This is going to be a very real vlog, you guys.
So you all heard this young lady talking about how she wanted a nerd and a square and all this stuff, but she's a stripper. Now, I'm going to tell you how I knew she was a stripper, because she mentioned that she doesn't work a conventional job and she makes more money than college educated women that you might think are wifey. So automatically, I know based on the language she was using, square, nerd, I already know how she views men. And I was blessed to grow up around the game, with the pimps and the hoes and all that. So I was blessed to be able to see that dynamic. Some of your smartest women, your most logical women, are going to be prostitutes, strippers, those in the porn industry, sex work, because those women have to detach emotion from making money. So they're a lot more logical than the average woman. Most of them have suffered some kind of damage as a child, be it abuse, rape, molestation, all these things. So most of those women are damaged before they even actually get into the industry. But those that are in the industry, they can easily separate emotion from getting the money. So they put their bodies on display, whether to be used or to be viewed. And those type of women are some of the smartest, most intelligent women you ever meet in your life. The problem is they're still women. And when the moment comes in life where they want to have the children, they want the home, they want the husband, they want the family, all the stuff they did comes back to haunt them. I'm gonna tell you this right now, ladies. No man that you want, that you need, is going to respect your line of work. That you're not going to be able to change what a man is. Now, if you notice, they're trying to demasculate men, take away men's powers, convince men to be women, because they know they can't actually change the nature of a man. They can't do it. So the problem is that feminism has told you all, you women, that what you all feel and think is how a man should feel and think. No man's going to ever take her serious. Let me show you a picture of her. And I'm going to get to you all on YouTube in a second, play the other video. But this young lady right here, nobody's going to take her serious. They're not. You can get mad all you want. but they're not going to take her serious. And I'm going to tell you why. She talks about the girl next door. But the problem is, and this is what women think, women walk around all day saying that they're different. But how are you different if you look like all the other women? You look like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, the City Girls, Glorilla, like you all look alike. So to a man, he doesn't have to be Sherlock Holmes or Inspector Gadget. As a man, he can just look at, as a man, he can just look at your what you're displaying to him. You know, it's not hard. Somebody said drag queens. Exactly. What the transgender did was the transgenders, they convinced you all to do the makeup so that they can blend in with you all. So now all the makeup looks the same. So all you women literally look the same. No, I don't look at her and see no different than the city girls or the hot girl. I don't see a difference. I'm sorry. And guess what? I should have to see a difference because you look like everybody else. All I hear is I'm different, I'm different, I'm different, I'm different. I'm not like them. But when I look at you, you got the same eyelashes, the same contacts, the same weave, the same outfits, the same purses, the same struggle relationship story. You got everything is the same. But this young lady had the audacity, she had the gall, she had the nerve to say that she was being misjudged, and she literally works in the sex industry. She literally works in the sex industry, and she's upset because men see her as the fun girl. Like you're literally on display for men's pleasure, and but you want them to see you as a wife. In what type of world am I living in? If I'm a pimp and I'm acting like a pimp and I'm talking like a pimp and I'm walking like a pimp, no woman is looking at me as a husband. She's looking at me as a pimp. So either she's going to avoid me at all costs or she's going to try to be one of my hoes. But that's it. There's no woman looking at me as a pimp confused on what I am. Either I'm going to be his hoe or I'm going to get away from him. These women are expecting men to look at them. Now imagine this now. Imagine a guy going to the club, seeing her dance naked in front of all these men, and then get that out of his head and then look at her as a wife. Want to court her, want to wine and dine. I'm sorry, it's never going to work. The only way it works is if you get a whole different crop of men who are going to be soft and disgustingly weak. I'm sorry. That's right. Sid, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Tell me what is different about this young lady. Just tell me. On YouTube, I have the screen frozen where she's counting money on the bed. This is a stripper talking about she wants to be taken seriously in the dating market. What world are we living in? This is insanity. I realized, right? I said, listen, if I want to get married, I got to change my ways because I can't expect this if I'm doing this. It's dishonorable. Y'all believe in the universe so much, the universe doesn't even honor that. The universe doesn't even honor you all doing the opposite of what you want. We ain't got to get to God. I'm talking about y'all believe in the universe, the stars and the planets and all that stuff. Y'all say it lines up with y'all, the esoterics. Even the universe says you're going to get out what you put in. Do unto others as you had them do unto you. What goes around comes around. That's the universe, the basic principle, universal law. So I'm trying to understand how this young lady can think that she can strip, travel, go to brunch, have the best time of her life, but then when she's ready to have a husband, now all of a sudden the men got to sit there and pick out this and pick out that. No. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. This girl gave y'all a whole speech about how she's misjudged, and she is literally the epitome of this ratchet culture. She's the epitome. She's an educated, college educated woman that chose the life of sex work. What do you want me to look at you and say? I'm not going to condemn you as a person or as a human being. I'm not going to marry you though. See, that's the like, you're a nice person. I respect you as a person or as a young lady, but I'm not finna wife you though. Because you wifing you means I gotta attach myself to you. And you done spend years in debauchery and decadence. A lot of bad habits have been developed as a stripper. A lot of bad habits get developed when you're out there in the world. So you're asking me to attach my life to that. You're asking me to take a bullet for that. You're asking me to fight the zombie apocalypse, which I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So she's very audacious. She's very audacious. But many women agree with her because, like I told you all before, most women are feminists because all the propaganda out there is feminism. It's all feminism. So she thinks I can look like the City Girls, Cardi B, and Meg Thee Stallion, but the man needs to see me for the queen I am. It's absolutely insane. It's insanity. And then she says, I want the squares. You know, I want the squares. I want the nerds. Look how you talking about the men. She didn't say I want a good man. She didn't say I want a husband. She didn't say I want a king. She said I wanted a square and a nerd. That lets me know you feel superior to them. Because the squares and the nerds, you take advantage of. And this, let's be honest, y'all. The nice guys finish last. Somebody said the nice guys finish last. It's a joke, but the nice guys finish last. Somebody said a good man is hard to find, but a hard man is good to find. That's some jokes they used to say. This is some jokes. But anyway, the nice guy finishes last because the nice guy is not honest. The nice guy is being nice to gain leverage. If the guy is righteous and he's good, he's going to risk leaving you. I mean, he's going to tell you the truth. He's going to tell you, listen, Ma, if you're expecting this, you can't be a stripper. Now, if you're not, now listen, you want to live your best life and be lit and turn up, YOLO, all that stuff, then be a stripper. But if you want this type of life, it ain't going to work as a stripper. It don't work. I'm sorry. And they keep telling y'all it's going to work. You're never going to be able to change the nature of a righteous man. So that means when she opens her mouth, I already knew what kind of work she did because she said squares and nerds. Who you talking about? Why are you talking to the man like that? Why are you downing him like that? You ain't. They're not edifying terms. You're not. Again, she didn't say I wanted a husband or a good man. In her world, the weak men are prey. In this world, weak men get preyed on by women. We know it. You go out. The fine girl got the dude buying drinks for her whole 10 of her friends. You gonna buy my girls a drink? No. Side note, this is why I don't buy drinks in the club for that reason. Every time I bought a drink in the club, it never worked. The times I've gone to the club and I've bought drinks, it never worked. Every other time I go to the club or used to go, I had a great time, got women, everything with no stuff spent. So I don't know what that's about, but the nice guys, the nerds, and the squares get preyed on by these types of women. So she doesn't respect men enough to humble herself to be a wife. Now, she's not being misjudged. She is literally the epitome of ratchet culture. I'm sorry. She's the epitome of it. But all the women are agreeing with her because the women want the Kim Kardashian syndrome. They want to be able to sell sex and be a wife. They want to be able to sell sex and still be virtuous. It's not going to happen. The main value a woman has to a righteous man or a good man, a wise man, is her preservation. How much access has she given the world? That's what the man's going to measure. So if you're giving the man the epitome of access, ladies, is your physical body. The epitome of access, lady, is your body. So if you're giving a man your body, then come on. If you give it, like somebody said, I hate men buying me drinks. I feel like he would feel like I owe him something. Yeah, I mean the drinks. But my thing is, I bought the drinks. I think twice in the club I bought some drinks, and the women asked. You know, I just feel like women respect men more than say no. I mean, that's just my what I've learned throughout my life. It's just women respect men more than say no. These guys that do everything they say, like her, she wants these guys to jump through hoops. You know, the circus. Where you got the ring of fire, she hitting that whip and he hopping through the hoops or rings of fire, making the crowd go, ooh, ah. That's what she wants. It's not gonna happen though. It's not gonna happen. What's up, Iretta? Is it Iretta? What's up? But it's not gonna happen. So let's listen to this lady that wants to be a wife and wants to get a square and a nerd. Let's hear her talk. And again, ladies, when you're talking to a man that's righteous and good and got some sense, he's wise. As soon as you open your mouth, he's going to know who you are. You're not going to be able to hide it. This young lady has the lace fronts, the weaves, the eyelashes, the nails. It's too much. I don't look at you as nothing else but this ratchet culture. I'm sorry. You're asking me to decipher through all that and see the person inside. That's BS. When them tricks come into the club, she looking at the guys that got the money. So when in her line of work, she has to be able to judge men accordingly, or else she's not gonna make any money. But she wants the men to not judge her accordingly. I refuse. I won't let her sit up here and act like she getting mistreated and she a whole sex worker. No. And you know them strippers be selling their vagina too. Because you got to think about it. You got to think about it. Now they say they don't be selling their body, but you know and I know if a man offered them $1,000, they're gonna take it. They selling sex. They can get mad all they want. I know the game. I know the strippers. They selling their vagina. I know this. Now, maybe the ones that are the main headliners don't now, but they did before. Them strippers done sold their body before. I ain't saying all of them, but most of them. And I'm not even judging. I'm just saying you can't get on social media talking about you getting misjudged and you a whole stripper. You're not being misjudged. Guys are looking at you accordingly. That's the girl that gets naked in the club. She's the fun girl. He's not saying she gets naked in the club, I want to make her wifey. That's insanity. But guess what? Feminism has you all insane because feminism says it's your way and it's the right way. And it's wrong because it's never going to work. Let's listen to her again.
Top, like right now, I have the money sitting on top of this comforter. As long as it doesn't touch a hard ass floor, real vlog, you guys. From mud because people are get a taste of what it is, but it's like
now she's about to talk about the injustices in the stripper industry. Now she's gonna tell you that she's a victim because the other rate. Just listen to it. It gets out of control.
people that are not Black working in this industry rarely get a taste of what it is like to not be the preference and to really have to like get that shit out the mud because people are kind of like just not really giving you attention and not really doing you good because they just don't want you because the color of your skin or like where you're from. It's rare that girls of other races get that type of treatment. So when they do get that type of treatment, they be like really shocked and they be like, "Oh shit! Like I'm not getting picked over the Black girls." Like it's kind of like you can see the shock in their face.
So now she on the bed counting money, all this money, talking about how she being mistreated in the stripper industry. Now listen, her story would sound better if she wasn't counting any money. And she said, I didn't make any money because men don't want black women. If a man goes to a strip club, right? If a man is going to spend his money, he's going to spend his money on what he wants. That means if he has a fantasy or a fetish, that's what he's going to pay for. So if you go to a strip club and 90% of the women look like Cardi B, the 10% that don't stand out. If I go to a strip club and 90% of the women look like Meg the Stallion and 10% don't, the 10% stand out. Again, these women talk about how different they are, how different they look, but they're all the same. I can't tell you all apart. And when you open your mouth, you sound just like Meg the Stallion and Cardi B and the City Girls and Glorilla and Nicki Minaj. Y'all all sound the same. So again, now she's saying with this conflated argument that the girls that aren't black don't like to be not picked under the black girls. Again, I guarantee that the other races of strippers around the country, if you add it all up, probably make more than black women because most black women look the same. Most black women, sorry to say, have fake hair. Most black women follow these ratchet trends. The girl says she's college educated. That don't even matter. It don't matter the profession, the education, nothing. Most of these black women look the same. They are carbon copies of each other. If you look at all the prominent black, quote unquote, black women in America who's looked up to, Cardi B, Meg, all them, they all look the same. Even Beyonce, they all look the same. Beyonce got married just to sell y'all sex. Once Beyonce got married, she started getting ratchet because it's justified because I'm married. But what she's really doing is she's telling you all to go out there and live your best life, and he better put a ring on it. Meanwhile, she married. Cardi B tell you to be a prostitute and a thought, but she married. You see, all these women are telling y'all this stuff, but they wouldn't dare live like that in real life. It's a setup. It's a setup. But this young lady right here had the audacity to go on social media and say, and guess what? I was sent this video to react to. But when I heard her talk, I said, let me go confirm what I already know. And I went to her YouTube page, which is, I think it's Pop by Cherry is her YouTube page. I think it's Pop by Cherry. Y'all can go follow her. But if you, again, she's no different than any of these other women. And her main qualifier was, I make more money. She never told you all that she was a good woman. She never told you all she was a good woman. My question to the ladies are this. This is for the ladies. Why don't you all ever make a humble plea to a man? Why don't you all ever say, instead of saying, I am the table, or he better accept me for how I am, or all this stuff, why don't you all say, I just want to be your wife. I just want to be a good woman to you. I want to turn your house into a home. I just want to love you. Why don't y'all make humble pleas to men? Because that's what moves men. All this other stuff don't move a man. Lace fronts, New Era fitted caps and all that, Mitchell and Mess headbands, all that stuff don't move a man. All this ratchet culture, these nails, these eyelashes, all that, none of that stuff moves a man. What moves a man is the humility in a woman, the grace in a woman, the elegance in a woman, the class in a woman. What happened to women being classy? What happened to y'all being demure? What happened to y'all walking and dropping your handkerchief because you know a man gonna pick it up? What happened to those days? What happened to y'all taking a walk with a man? Have y'all ever just walked with a man, just y'all walking? You would be surprised what he wants to do for you. You'd be surprised that he's looking around trying to see, how can I make her more comfortable? How can I make her day better? What happened to the classy women? What happened to the classy, demure women that demanded and commanded respect? Those that walk with elegance and grace. What happened to them? Why y'all not making a humble plea to a man saying, I want to be a good wife to you? Do you know how much a man would, what that sound like to a man? I want to be the best for you. Do you know what that'll make the man take you to the moon and beyond? What did Buzz Lightyear say? To infinity and beyond. Y'all will turn a man into Buzz Lightyear if y'all tell the man, I just want to be a good wife to you. That's what motivates a man, not this other nonsense, not the loud talking. Again, not these wigs, not these dead raccoons and skunks on your head. None of this stuff is gonna move a man. Not them long, crazy looking nails, not all that transformer makeup on. None of that stuff is going to move a man. It's never gonna work. Ever. A man is gonna be moved by the character of a woman, her grace, her elegance, her sophistication. Half y'all can't even say thank you. I open the door for a white woman, she gonna say thank you. Asian woman, she gonna say thank you. Hispanic woman, she gonna say thank you. My own community, maybe, depending on how she feel. I'll never forget one day, I was at the gym one time, I opened the door and there was an Asian woman came in, white woman came in, and then Black Girl Magic came in. Who you think didn't say thank you? These people are giving you all this information and it's false. The type of man you want is not going to want you. Forget the weaves and the wigs and all that stuff when you open your mouth. He might can get past how you look, but it's when you open your mouth, you start calling men nerds and squares, but you want them to wife you. You're not saying I want a righteous man, a good man, a strong man, a king, one that can lead. I want a square or a nerd. Like you above the men. Them men don't give you the time of day because they know better. You know, man finna tie themselves to that anchor. That's an anchor. Drag you to the bottom of the ocean, to the bottom of the abyss. This girl done indulged in city girl culture for years. She done made money off of being ratchet. How's she gonna be a wife? How's her mind processing? How's her mind working? I wish she was listening so I could tell her to her face. It ain't gonna work. You going to brunch, you traveling, you doing what you want to do. How you gonna submit to a man? Oh, I know. You gonna submit to a man with some money though. I bet you do that. Yeah. Oh, I got standards. Yeah, I know. One man just said how a woman talk is a big factor. Of course, man, any man with some sense is going to listen to what she's saying. This girl on the bed counting money talking about the other, look, she on the bed counting money talking about what the other strippers are mad at. What righteous man is going to take her serious? None. I saw one video where she said, I might have it on here, where she said, I quit my job, I quit my day job, and I'm going to Chicago to be with my homegirl. I'm just like, no real man's gonna do it. I don't care what they say. She ain't no man intimidated by her. Ain't none of that. She ain't got this surgery done. I can tell she got a bad body because most of the girls get this surgery be having a bad body. They don't be having no hips. They be gaining weight above the waist. All this. Listen, fellas, if a woman don't have any hips, it's for the men. She gonna have to be slim. If she doesn't have any hips, she gonna gain weight above the waist. You got to know this. A lot of these girls get these BBLs because they don't really gain weight the right way. Most girls that get these BBL surgeries, they got afflicted, their body kind of funny. But instead of working out and trying to have the best funny looking body you can, they still try to enhance it and start looking crazy. But anyway, in the strip club, don't no man want to look at no injected butt. If he look around and all the butts are injected, the natural butt's going to stand out. I don't know what you ladies are going to do when the natural thing come back. Everything goes in cycles. So when the natural wave come back, I don't know what you women are going to do. Because when the natural wave come back And all these natural women who got natural hair, who ain't invested in eyelash, in skunk paws on their eyelids, all the women that ain't invested in these weaves, in these alley cats, all the women that ain't invested in all these transformer makeups, all the women that been natural this whole time, when their time comes back around, y'all won't be able to compete. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to go from plastic ready-made Barbie to natural woman. It's not going to work. You ain't got the self-esteem to do it. You ain't got the self-esteem to pull that dead carcass skunk off your head and show your natural hair. Y'all ain't even got the confidence to even do it. Y'all ain't got the confidence to walk out the house with no makeup. Y'all have not built yourself for that. So now when the natural women come on the scene, now y'all gonna be done. Y'all gonna be toast. And guess what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna try to shame them. Y'all gonna talk bad about them, but it ain't gonna work. It's not going to work. Everything goes in a cycle. This plastic ready-made city girl thing is finna end. It's about to end. Folks about to really get back to this natural thing. And y'all gonna be looking crazy. And guess what? It'll be justified. Because you ought to spend years being fake. Fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake breasts, fake butt, fake lips, fake eyes, but real problems. Fake everything, but real problems. Fake hair, fake eyes, fake eyelashes, fake breasts, fake butts, fake abs now, fake nails. Everything fake, but you want a real man. You fake, but the money got to be real. You fake, but he got to be real. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And I can't wait for the natural girls to get their shine. And then guess what? Y'all are going to be looking crazy because you will not take that hair off your head. That right there ain't coming off. That's right, looking like a transformer. They tricked y'all. Let's continue.
Picked over the black girls, like it's kind of like always. I would say some of the most. I say they tend to be the most dance for customers. My least favorite customers to dance for, and this is just me being completely honest and very transparent, is black men, because they tend to be the most offensive. My least favorite customers to dance for, and this is just me being completely honest and very transparent, is black men, because they tend to be the most offensive. They want you to do the most for the least. And when I say offensive, I mean like, oh, y'all don't have any Spanish girls. I like foreigns. I like light skins, like whatever. Like it always, I would say some of the most offensive things that I've had said to me, it's come from a couple white guys too that have said offensive things, but they were like racist things. But the most colorist, like just offensive things I've ever had said to me have most of the time been from niggas. So that's, I don't really enjoy dancing for niggas.
I don't know if you all heard her in that video clip, but she was talking about the worst people to dance for are black men. This is her complaint. She said black men are the most offensive, most colorist, all this. Black men are even worse than the white men. This is what she's saying, but she wants to marry a black man. You see, the problem with this whole movement out here is women think that they can get the good guy and the bad guy wrapped into one. It's never going to work. Either he's going to be righteous or he's not. The gray area doesn't exist. It is a figment of your imagination. It was created by Satan to keep you lukewarm. And if you are lukewarm, you are an abomination to God. So, with that being said, these women are told by feminism that they can live in the gray area and still succeed. This is the Kim Kardashian syndrome. Kim Kardashian said, I can build my whole empire off of sex, continue to sell sex, and still be a wife and a mom. You see how that's working out? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. A double-minded woman is unstable in all her ways. I can give you all the keys to this lock right now. Ladies, all you have to do is honor the man that you choose. You ain't got to do all this extra stuff. The man that you choose to be with, that's the man you choose to honor and respect. Now, you should be respectful to men in general and people in general. But when it comes to your man, focus on being respectful to him. But ladies, how do we learn how to respect men? We learn that by respecting God. So first you got to respect God first, then you'll be able to respect men. A lot of y'all taking the God complex, you put God out the way, and you say, I want this guy. But guess what? You're not the one that decides that. Kevin Samuel said the man controls access to relationships. The woman controls access to the sex. That's balance. That is balance. You want the relationship, he wants the sex. I'm just paraphrasing the concept. So he gives you a relationship, you give him sex. But what most women do is they entertain all these low character men. So what she does is most male contact that this woman has is with men that are paying money to see sex. You know what I'm saying? What I'm telling you is most men that she come in contact with are low character men. So how is she able to even distinguish between good man and bad man if 90% of the guys she come in contact with are tricks? They in the club spending money. Seems like you're around a lot of low vibration black women. I always say thank you. Many of us value being virtuous, intelligent, healthy, nurturing, loving, humble, kind, and real. I don't think I'm around low vibrational black women. I just think that black women adopt city girl culture. I don't think it's reflection on what I'm around. I think that a lot of black women adopt the city girl culture. A lot of black women like it. Nobody's condemned Cardi B. Nobody's condemned. No black woman has condemned Cynthia G, Kamala Harris, Cardi B, Meg. Like these women, like no black woman has condemned them. Like just think about who are the pillars of the black community. Show them to me. Who are they? They're not conservative women, so get them out of the way. So tell me, they hate Candace Owens. So tell me, who are black women looking up to? Who are black women looking up to? If I'm around low vibrational black women, then tell me who are black women looking up to? Who are their role models? Who's teaching black women how to be women? Show me what figure. Michelle Obama? Her? Is it Michael Obama? Who is it? Because last I checked, all these transformers are being pushed by black women. I see black women out there fighting for the trans community. So I'm trying to figure out, if I'm around low vibrational black women, just point to me who black women are looking up to on a mass level. Why are we acting brand new? Why is it when I say it, I'm the bad guy? This young lady said she wants to get married. And then the next scene, she counting money on the bed from stripping. I don't surround myself with bad people. I interact with all people, though. And at the end of the day, I see more times than not that black women, black girl magic, condones the city girl culture, the ratchet girl culture. I'm telling you, YOLO, live. I talk to them, the educated ones, the quote unquote good ones. They all act the same. Girls with PhDs, they all talk and act the same. You can go on relationship shows. You can go on any of these shows on social media, and all these black women share the same brain. And then the ones that don't get called what? Pick-me's, Girl, you don't have no self-worth. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm around low vibrational women. I surround myself with good people, but I interact with a whole bunch of people, and most black women I see look at Cardi B as not a bad person. Look at Meg Thee Stallion as not a bad person. I just did a video on Lolo Jones a couple of weeks ago. Lolo Jones, same thing. She want to be able to pose in Fendi, go to brunch, jet set, do all this stuff, live her best life, and then now that she's getting tired in her 40s, now she want to get married. So what I'm saying is, this is a cultural problem. This is a cultural problem. White women have examples to look up to. Asian women have examples to look up to. Hispanics even do. But in the black community, just look at who's at the forefront. If we start from the home, it was Big Mama. What did Big Mama say the past 2 years? Get the snake bite. I can go down the whole list. All these artists out here, these female black artists are going to the charts. Look what they saying. The girl had an abortion song. Did she get canceled? No. So what I'm telling y'all is it's a culture that's accepted because they make it look good and they package it to black women. As a black woman, you could be independent, single mother, self-sustained, everything is good, but it's a lie. It's a lie. Ain't no real man going to respect it. A real man, he's going to, as part of his nature, ladies, as a man's nature, he's going to have to feel needed. If you tell a man you don't need him, you are going to turn him off. You're going to lower his sperm count. If you tell a man you don't need him, you're going to lower his sperm count. This is not how men are wired. I'm sorry. This is the nature of a man. He ain't going to be able to change it. So you run around saying that you don't need men, you independent, all this stuff. Guess what? He's going to be unattracted to you. So in the strip club, when these men are looking at these women, they know the feminine women and the one that got the masculine energy, like this one. Men are attracted to feminine women. Women that don't mind humbling themselves. Women that don't mind putting a man first. At the end of the day, it's culture. And the ratchet city girl culture has been adopted by black women. How do I know this? They just had a campaign with the saucy flaming Santana and his banana and Trina, and they're appealing to the black community, telling black men, if you want to have sex with a transformer or a woman, you better go vote. So don't tell me I'm around low vibrational women when that's literally what the culture wants. That's what's being appealed to, is low vibration, not me. Not me. It's what the culture says. We want low vibrational stuff. Pictures of Kamala Harris putting hot sauce on her food, knowing good and well she grew up eating curry and coconut and all that stuff. Knowing good and well she ain't grew up eating no hot sauce. But guess what? That appeals to the culture. And I'm going to say it again. If I open the door, all the other races of women are going to say thank you. Only one group of women is a hit or miss on saying thank you, and that is black women. And if you ask more men about that, they're going to tell you the truth. It's true. Because, as my boy so eloquently says, they're telling these women that they've won the Super Bowl. Society is telling these women that they have won the Super Bowl and they have not done one day of practice. They have not done one day of practice and they're magical and they're queens and they're goddesses. What type of ego does that create in a woman? To be a goddess and to be magical with no practice. To be a goddess and magical and a queen with no effort. What kind of culture does that create? What does that create? It creates entitlement. That's what it creates. You heard what the girl said. I want a nerd or a square. She didn't say I want a good man. She didn't say I wanted an honorable man, a righteous man. I want a nerd or a square so I can take advantage of him. That's what she's saying. She don't want no real man. Because guess what? The culture says she don't need one. Black culture is ran by black women. Black culture is ran by black women. So this culture is a reflection of what black women want.
You know, I don't really enjoy dancing for niggas.
Charlotte. And 8. Best friend. I quit my job. Flew to Chicago with my best friend. Toured. And 8. Good. Flew to Charlotte and danced.
And she thinks that a man is going to choose that. It's audacious. It's audacious. The audacity. The audacity to put these videos up and expect a man to see the real you as if this ain't the real you. She got upset because she sees the fun girl, but you quit your job and went to Chicago to party. That is the fun girl. She just said, I quit my job, I went to Chicago and turned up. That's the fun girl. No real man's looking at you saying, oh, that's wifey. But guess what? This is not just her. This is a culture. This ain't just her. I talk to a lot of black women and they got the same mindset. It's presented different, but when you talk to them, it's the same mindset. All you got to do is go on these pages and websites, look who's agreeing with these women, and go to their profile. That's all you got to do. Look who agree with these women and go to their profile. It ain't all the thoughts and the bops. Nah, these are regular educated women. These are the regular black girl men. These are the who's who of black society agreeing with this stuff. Because it's culture, it's feminism. Feminism is enticing because it said it's the woman's world. James Brown said it's a man's world, but it don't mean nothing without what? Who can finish that line? This is a man's world, but it don't mean nothing without what? Who can finish that line? Who can finish the line? You know bucket and a mop, but who can finish? This is a man's world, but it don't mean nothing without what? Somebody said God, no. It don't mean thank you. It don't mean nothing without a woman or a girl. This is a man's world, but it don't mean nothing without a woman or a girl. So what feminism said was, forget the men, it's our world. And how has that worked out for our women? 27% of our women get married and it's on the decline. Black women are the least likely to get married and the least likely to get picked in online dating. And they're going to tell you it's because you're black. That's not why. It's because of culture. It's culture. So when a man looks at you, he needs to see a culture. Now, if you were smart, ladies, you would create your own culture, one that's godly and righteous and beneficial. You create your own culture. But what most of y'all do is y'all try to take the ratchet culture and try to dress it up with sophistication. Y'all love the saying ratchet and classy. This is all feminism. These are all tricks. I take the ratchet stuff and I make it classy. I can be bad and bougie. This is all this feminism. And I'm telling you all, it's a lie. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. You got to be a good woman on purpose. So if you really want a husband, a righteous man in a good family, if you really want a man to risk his life for you, give you his life, then guess what? You might have to change professions because a righteous man ain't going to do it. In the Bible, Jesus saw Mary Magdalene, wasn't it? And he basically told her to sin no more. He told her to sin no more. Don't do it no more. And she listened. So even a prostitute can still be a righteous woman. Because when presented with the choice, she chose to be righteous. And she was there in the end. I said even a prostitute can be a righteous woman. Because when presented with the choice, she can still choose righteousness. Her whole life changed off one choice. She didn't go to no classes. She didn't go to therapy. None of that. She said, I'm not gonna be a prostitute anymore. I'm not gonna hoe anymore. So what these women are asking is for men to attach themselves to the mentality of Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla and Beyonce and Nicki Minaj. He's not going to do it. Because you can't run an effective household with a woman's mind consumed with that nonsense. You just can't do it. So it's never going to happen. That is a message for all of us. It is a choice. You're right. We can choose too. What I'm saying is, just because you're a stripper doesn't mean life is over. Just because you're a prostitute don't mean life is over, but you got to make the choice though. A righteous man is going to honor your righteous decisions, how you choose to live your life. That's right. The respect of men is absent. That's a problem. That's why she said, I want a nerd or a square. She doesn't even look at men on that level. She's not looking at a man to submit to. She's not. She's not looking at a man to submit to. She's not. She wants a man to take advantage of because in her world, she's the boss. She's the boss chick. You know? But I just think that, again, women have to reject feminism. The mass media tells you to reject racism. So you all have gone overboard with that. Do it with feminism. I bet you won't, though. And feminism is worse than racism because racism don't stop folks from having a family. Feminism does. Folks can still function under racism. With feminism, everybody's going to suffer. But you won't reject it because it feels so good. It's a woman's world. We can do it. I'm going to come back with part 2 because I really want to talk about submission. Hold on a second, YouTube. Let me just... Let me entitle this one Feminism versus a Husband. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's not a revenge of the nerds type of guy. No, no. Their definition of a nerd or a square basically like a regular guy. Yeah, but the problem is how she's looking at him though. She's not. It's not an edifying term because you could easily say, "I want a good man." That's a common term. I want a good man. Like you're saying nerd and square, but you're saying it from a perspective of you a sex worker. He a trick. That's why they saying it. It's because their mind is in the stripper culture. I can tell when she first said it, I was like, nerd or a square. I was like, non-traditional work. I said, let me see what this woman. I said, she got to be in the industry. I said, let me see what this woman talking about. But anyway, let me so now we're gonna get on what's up, Pamela? Now we're gonna get on submission. So let me get her off the screen. But y'all, I think her name is Pop by Cherry. That's her YouTube. Y'all can go follow her though. You know. Now, the biggest problem that women have is who they decide to give their time and energy and body to. Most women believe that two types of guys exist. They believe that they believe that the two types of guys that exist can be combined into one. So they believe that the wise man or the prudent man can also be the foolish man. It's not the case. So I was in a strip club one time, and just for example, I was in a strip club and God spoke to me. God told me to, I probably told the story before, but God told me to, the voice said, when she comes to you, tell her about me. And I was like, who? No answer back. I was like, who? I said, I'm not telling nobody about, I basically rebelled, so I'm not doing it. And right when I said I'm not doing it, this girl comes up. Bad. This is in Magic City. And I'm actually with a pastor at the time. But the girl comes up and he whispers me, he says, ask her how much it would be to go back to the hotel. And so I asked her, I said, how much would it be to go back to the hotel? We right downtown. And she looked at me and she dropped her head and she said, I can't do it. I'm trying to change my life. And she walked away. Now listen to me. She didn't even ask for a dance. She came over there to dance. She didn't even ask for a dance. I mean, she left the money. She dropped her head and said, I can't do it. I'm trying to change my life. And she walked away. You know how bad I felt? You know how bad I felt? You know how horrible and despicable I felt for that woman who was a stripper, a woman I shouldn't respect, a woman that's supposed to be a sex object, a woman that's not supposed to be valued, a woman that's in front of me with no clothes on. That woman dropped her head and said, I can't do that. I'm trying to change my life. You know how low and deplorable and despicable I felt? I ain't been to the strip club since. I only went back the second time, not second time, but after that to try to talk to her, but she didn't want to see me. She was downstairs getting ready, and she did not want to come up and talk to me. So I let you know, when God tells you something, you're supposed to act immediately. You're supposed to act immediately. And so the problem is that I can't have one foot in the world and one foot with God. It don't exist. It's impossible. You can't serve two masters. So what I'm telling you, ladies, is there's two types of men. Either he's righteous or he's not. He's wise or he's foolish. There's no in between. Now, if I had told that girl that God wants her to change her life and she shouldn't be in here, that would have probably propelled her to heights unimaginable. But at her most vulnerable moment, guess what I did? I asked her to come back to the hotel. Disgusting and horrible. It's not righteous. It's not honorable. It's actually cowardly, because I would rather try to sabotage her future than listen to God. It's cowardly. But that's what most folks do out here, though. They're not going to admit it. So I'm not judging the sex workers. I'm simply saying that you got to make a choice. I'm not saying that a woman that strips or is a prostitute don't have value. I'm saying she got to make a choice. The same choice I had to make, she had to make. I don't know where her life ended up. I hope it ended up for the better. But I take responsibility for that, because I know at that moment she would have changed. That would have been the push she needed, because I believe she probably prayed for a sign. And I was supposed to be that sign. And I chose to be used by the devil. Disgusting. And that still bothers me to this day. It really does. But let's talk about submission. And what it means to submit. So, ladies, first of all, you can't submit to a man unless he submits to God. Because when he submits to God, it's not about him anymore. It's about what God wants. He got purpose. We call that purpose. Doing what God wants is purpose. So you can't submit to the man unless he's already submitted to God. So the problem is that most women are submitting to men who haven't submitted to God. So they don't even understand submission and can't even comprehend what submission even is, because they haven't even submitted to God yet. So what I'm saying is, most men, ladies, are cowards. That's why when you meet a man and you see this quote unquote potential and all this stuff, you better put him to the test. That means no vagina. That means no rubbing and tugging. None of that. You tell that man, I need to know that you are the man that's meant for me. Look him in his eyes when you say it. Don't be wavering. Say, I need to know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are the man for me, and you can't pay for that. Meaning, I don't care what you try to buy or try to spend, it ain't gonna work. I got to see the man. He gonna honor that. I bet you he honors that. Let's
Do you feel women should be submissive in committed relationships?
Well, see, here's my thing about submissiveness in the Bible, right? Because that's where it comes from. People love in the Bible. In the Bible, it says you should be submissive to a God-fearing man. So if a man is God-fearing, no adultery, no domestic violence, none of that, right? Like a God-fearing man, of course you submit to that man. Am I submitting to Pookie down the street so he can lead me to hell? No.
Now here goes the problem. What she says sounds good on the surface. The problem is Pookie and Ray Ray and them should have never had a chance with you. That means you should have never even been in a situation where you couldn't submit to Pookie and Ray Ray because you wasn't never with them. This is the problem. You should have never even entertained Pookie and Ray Ray and them. They should have never had a shot. So now your idea of submission isn't even tainted, because you wouldn't even submit to a Pookie and a Ray Ray. But the problem is, ladies, y'all are submitting to Pookie and them Ray Rays because you're sleeping with him. And if he got you bent over, and if he got your legs open, and if he got you squirming and squiggling like an octopus or a squid, if he got you moaning and groaning like a cat in heat, if he got you climbing the walls, if he got you seeing stars, you're already to submit it. You've already submitted. You didn't submit to the man, you submitted to the penis. That's even worse. You submitted to the phallic symbol. Now you know why the phallic symbol is used everywhere. Because if that rod, if that phallic symbol is known how to be used, in the Bible they call it the rod of correction, the staff of righteousness. If a man has that rod of correction or that staff of righteousness in a joking manner, he know how to use it, you done. 20%, 80% of women don't have an orgasm through vaginal sex. So if a man has that rod of correction or he has that staff of righteousness, he knows how to use it, you done. It's a wrap. You already submitted to Pookie, Ray Ray, and them. So what I'm telling you all, ladies, is to stop giving these men your body, because giving them access to your body is submission. Giving the man access to your body is submission. But for the men too. The men can say he this, he that, and the third, but once he lay with the woman, he's submitting. Because guess what? He's going to climax. And you know, once he get that hump in his back and his body go limp and he fall over, yeah, that's submission. You at the point of death. Y'all know, fellas don't talk about, you know, fellas know. When you get that, y'all know, when you get that, you all listen, at that very moment, somebody come in and kill you. That you at your most vulnerable when the man is climaxing. So guess what? That means you submitting to the woman. You already submitting. You giving her access to you at your most vulnerable point. You are submitting. That's why a lot of men get caught up with the vagina. That's how they get robbed, killed, set up. They're chasing the vagina. That, yeah, that right there. Yeah. Many men have died like that. Got set up and robbed and killed like that. Or got all their hard-earned money taken like that. You know what I mean? So, but I'm saying, ladies, is you can't mess with Pookie and Ray Ray and them and expect good results. So submission, first of all, ladies, you need to start with God. You submit to God. And ladies, you really honor your submission to God by your submission to a righteous man. That's how you're going to honor God, through your submission to a righteous man. Same with the man, he honors God through his submission to the family. Now let's see what the Bible says about the submission. Thanks for the Cash App. Who is that? I just saw. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait 1 second. A lot of folks be on these shows. Thanks for the Cash App, Frank Joseph. Let's see what submission says in the Bible. Let me go right here. Okay. Giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. So the first act of submission is man and woman submitting to each other out of fear for God, out of respect for God, out of honor for God. We say, you know what? We don't want nothing bad to happen to us. Let's submit to each other. So out of fear to God, we say, let's submit. You know, wives, submit to yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. So that means that the submission to the man needs to be like it is to God. That doesn't mean that the man is God. That means you give the man respect. You think about it. What is God going to have you do on earth that doesn't involve a person? God don't need y'all for nothing. Get that out your head. God don't need y'all to actually do nothing. God is God. God needs y'all to do it with the people on earth. Everything God has you do will be done with another person. It's about the human relationship, the human connection. We in this thing together. Ain't no independent nothing. Man needs woman and woman needs man. Period. And they both need God. Period. Everybody keep tiptoeing around this. The man needs the woman and the woman needs the man. God said when he saw it's not good for man to be alone. If you don't believe me, go talk to these old men that's trying to be players at 65 years old. Just go sit down somewhere before you fall over. How you gonna run the streets at 65? Popping all kind of pills. Now they got the new thing, that honey. They went from the pills to the honey. These old men doing all these little tricks of the trade, trying to do all this stuff, trying to keep them. Man, go sit down somewhere. Come on, man. I be seeing old couples walking together. Man, go sit down. Trying to be a player at 65 and 70 years old. Man, you don't sit yourself down before you fall over? Because you ain't nothing but listen, at 70 years old, you ain't nothing but a trick. If you a player at 70, you a trick. Look what you've been reduced to, a trick. Stop. Stop. It'd be different if y'all was single man in your 70s. Y'all was like some righteous spiritual guru. You know, people came to see y'all. Y'all had a robe on, giving good advice and blessing people. Y'all ain't doing that. Y'all trying to turn up. Got on skinny jeans and Balenciaga looking crazy. Can't even walk in them shoes. Go sit down somewhere. Submitting yourselves one to another in fear of God. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto God. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be their own husbands in everything. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. So the wives are supposed to submit to the husband, but the difference is what the world is saying. Christ died for the church. Christ died for the people. So if the man ain't willing to die for you, ladies, and the family, then you ain't got to submit to him. We got a clear qualification for submission. The man is willing to die for you and the children. If he ain't willing to die for you, don't submit to him. This is clear. So I'm telling y'all right now, Pookie and Ray Ray and them ain't going to die for you. All they going to do is take. Pookie and Ray Ray and them ain't going to die for you. All they going to do is take. When the apocalypse comes, Pookie and Ray Ray and them are not going to protect y'all. They're not. I'm sorry to say it. So, if the man ain't willing to risk his life for you, ladies, lay down his life, be a sacrifice, be a human shield, guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. If the man ain't willing to do that for you, ladies, then you should not submit. These are clear things. We're talking about guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. If he's not willing to do that, ladies, then don't submit. The word submission means to be up under what? Be up under a mission. So if the man ain't got a mission, ladies, then don't submit. What you submitting to? You got a sub sandwich? You got a submarine? No. We're talking about you got sub standard? No. You got a submission. That means you under a mission. We're talking about subtraction, talking about submitting. You're under a mission. If the man ain't got no mission, ladies, then you would be foolish to submit to him. Let's continue.
There's just as much fear of submitting to someone as being a leader. A part of us being in survival mode is that you can't show weakness. That's every animal. When every animal is in survival mode, you have to hide your weaknesses. It's about getting through the next moment. And what we've been through as Black people in this country, we still very much in survival mode. It's harder for you to think long term. So now I got to leave my survival, not my love, not my happiness, not my survival up to this individual, or I got to lead another individual. And a lot of us haven't reached a place in our own relationship, like with self, to where we healed enough to realize, like, oh my God, like I'm capable of this. This person does trust me. It's not about survival anymore. We passed that. Like, we actually building something here. So I think we definitely, as Black people specifically, have to give ourselves grace. We have one of the most unhealthy relationships with leadership that you could point at.
Now, I don't agree with all that, you know, Black people this, Black people that. I'm gonna say this. As a man will not be an effective leader if he feels like he's oppressed. A man's mindset should be that of a conqueror, that of against all odds, that of faith to move a mountain. That's the kind of guy you all should submit to. Not a man talking about being oppressed by white folks. That's weak. What white people are doing has no place in the household. So as a man, I shouldn't be coming home crying because I feel like the white folks done picked on me. No. The man's mindset, ladies, should be that of a conqueror. He tells you, listen, these people over here mean to do us harm. I'm going to stop them. That's the kind of man you submit to. In the movie 300 with Leonidas' wife told him, he said, what should a king do? He was seeking counsel in his woman. This is why it behooves you men to get y'all a wise woman. He's seeking counsel with his wife in that bedroom. He said, what should a king do? She says, what would a free man do? And then before he left, she said, return with your shield or on it. Meaning, return in victory or return dead. That's a woman. But guess what? She can submit to a man that would return with his shield or return on it. All this talking about white folks and racism, this is weakness. If you're getting picked on by white people, men, then do something about it. If white folks are oppressing you, men, then do something about it. Otherwise, shut your mouth and lead your family. You can't have it both ways. You can't cry about white folks and then lead your wife and your children through the shadow of the valley of death, where you're supposed to fear no evil, because God is with you. So, fellas, if you really want to be a leader, you got to get rid of all these insecure hangups, all this love worth. Either you're going to be a king or you're not. You're going to be great or you're not. There's no in between. Husbands, love your wives, even as also Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So that means Christ wasn't afraid. The Bible is clearly telling you, men, how you should be. You should be like Christ, fearless. Even though I know I'm a suffer, I'm going to do it anyway. I know it's going to benefit my people. Even though I'm going to suffer, I'm going to do it because it's going to benefit my wife and my children. That's how a man's supposed to be. Not all this crying and complaining about black this, black. No. What are you going to do? How is your household going to be? How your wife going to depend on you? You talking about what white folks is doing. Then she knows there's something greater than you. Your wife should look at you like you Superman. Your wife should look at you like you are Superman. She should think, girl, my husband can fly. No, he can't, girl. My husband can fly. He ain't got a cape. That's how your wife should be looking at you, fellas. But she can't look at you like that. You're talking about what white folks is doing. What black folks been through. I don't want to hear it. Either be a king, be a conqueror, or shut your mouth. Husbands love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that he should be holy and without blemish. So now we're seeing that the man should be presenting himself to the church a certain kind of way, glorious. So the man should be presenting himself to his family as glorious. How does a man present himself to be glorious to the family? By his character. Without a spot, without a wrinkle, or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So basically, again, the husband should be presenting himself to the family like he's Superman, like he's the Messiah. That means he ain't got time to be complaining and crying and slinging snot by white folks about what the world is doing. So are men to love their wives as their own bodies? He that loveth his wife loveth himself. This is what you submit to. A man that loves his wife like he loves himself. So that means he's showing love to himself by loving his wife. So if a man don't love his wife, he don't love himself. I'm gonna come back to that. Hold on, I'm gonna come back.
By saying, hey, I depended on a man who, and you talked about the extremes. Let's talk about the middle ground that isn't controlling. Let's talk about, hey, I just don't know how to pay my own bills, but since I'm a man, I feel like I need to because society puts so much pressure on me. I don't even know how to pay my own bills. I don't know what credit is. I don't have financial literacy, but I know I'm supposed to have a follow me. So you follow me. She saw a podcast where a bunch of women said, follow your man. I follow my man, period, sis. So let's give some more context to what we mean is what I'm saying.
I agree with you. All right, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Misleading people.
Yeah.
Because most people are stupid.
When you say a man can lead, a man should lead.
To make your story
you're talking
sound
about
fire.
a man. That means you're talking about responsible, successful men. That means you're talking about men who don't got their shit together. That means you said a man. So when we sit up here, everybody who has a man is like, I can see that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Context.
But everybody ain't a man.
And I'm gonna say it again. Again, ladies, you should not be submitting to a man who hasn't met the requirements. So this never should be a case. It never should be a case that you are with a man and he's not able to lead, because you never should have got with him in the first place. You never should have gotten with him in the first place. This is what I talk about. We got a clear definition of what you should be submitting to, ladies. The man got to literally be like the Messiah. So that makes it very easy. So you go out there and look out there, which man is acting like the Messiah and which man is not. And it's going to be pretty easy to figure out who is and who isn't. Pookie and Ray Ray and them ain't acting nothing like the Messiah. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Why does the Bible say that? Because when a man and woman get together, they become what? They become one. They become one. The Bible tells the woman to submit, but the Bible tells the man to love. Submission and love are not supposed to be emotional. They're supposed to be acts of honor, of character and principle. The man loves the wife as himself because they are one flesh. He is not separating himself from his woman, much like the Messiah didn't separate himself from us. It's the same relationship. So I'm not going to do things without the consideration of my wife and my family. This is the man that you all submit to, not Pookie, not Ray Ray, and them. Let's continue.
If a woman's submission is based on a man's leadership, then what is his ability to lead based on? Trip?
his ability to submit, I think we've already established that tone in this conversation. I think in order to be an effective leader, you need to know when to move out the way.
That's good. I like
Because, you know, and it's not to refute what anybody else is saying, but I don't think it's always the man who has the vision in a relationship. And I don't think it's always him that's supposed to. If let's say my lady is a lawyer, she pulling in 150 a year. The vision is clear. We're gonna need a few more years of what you got going on before we start talking about who I'm supposed to be and what I got going on. And if I need to lead by moving out of her way so she can accomplish some things to better us, then I need to be strong enough to do that. So I think a lot of men lead from an egotistical place where it's about what I want, not about what we need.
Again, the man's submission starts with him submitting to God. Ladies, again, submission. You're submitting to a mission. You are under a mission. So that means when you get with the man, he has clear goals of what he wants in life. It's up to you to say yay or nay. This is not about money or finance. This is about this man has a vision. So if this man has a vision, then that means you are going to submit to that man's vision. It doesn't mean you forego your career, none of that stuff. I'm saying, though, the man has to have the mission. He has to have the vision before you even get with him. So none of this stuff should even come up because you already know that this guy right here that I'm with, he already got a mission and I can submit to it. And we've been working towards this the whole time. So again, him leading has nothing to do with who makes more money because she's already submitted to what? His mission, his vision, really, she submitted to God because his mission and vision should be aligned with God. So she's not submitting essentially to him. She's submitting to the mission, the vision, which comes from God. But she got to honor and respect the man in the process. So what I'm telling you all is that we shouldn't even get to the point where we even got to say, because she made more money, she got to lead. Because lead is not about money. Leadership is about character. Leadership is about character. It's not because I make money, I lead, or I got the position, I lead. Plenty of folks that have positions but are terrible leaders. Because the best leader is the best one to serve. We'll say that better. The best leaders were usually the best servers. So the best leaders lead by example. The best leaders aren't afraid to get their hands dirty with the people. Those are the best leaders. The most leaders that are true leaders got to be pushed into leadership. Because most people that are would-be great leaders are reluctant because they know what it costs, know what it entails. That's why sometimes, lady, you're going to see a man and you're going to see greatness in him. But it's going to be your job to pull it out. I didn't say it was your job to hold his hand. I didn't say it was your job to make his bed. I didn't say it was your job to make him feel good about his position. I said it was your job to pull it out with love and respect and honor. Because a man's going to be motivated the most in life by a woman. A man's going to want to do all these great things in life with a woman in mind. So ladies, knowing that how you are in his life is going to determine his propulsion or his descent. It's going to take honor, respect, and love of that man to make sure that it propels to the highest heights. But again, he shouldn't be with you complaining with his head down. Now, if his head gets knocked down, you be able to pick him back up. He ain't running back to the house for safety. He running back to the house wounded, beat up, so you can tend to his wounds. That's the kind of man you submit to. Don't submit to no coward. Complaining. You submit to the man that say, baby, I died trying. That's who you submit to. Not this feminism mess. Because most of the men they show ain't real men. Most of the men they show us They aren't real men. These men got all kind of stuff going on, cheating and everything. How you gonna cheat on your wife and say you a good man? The Bible clearly says, he that loveth his wife loveth himself. So if you cheating on your wife, you cheating on yourself. How you a good man? You not. I ain't giving no passes. He either righteous or he ain't. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth it and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. So that means a man's supposed to nourish and cherish his relationship with his woman. What does that even look like? What does nourishing and cherishing even look like? The nourishing is that means you're supposed to edify your woman. You're supposed to give your woman praise. Let her know how wonderful she is. Don't take her for granted. That's nourishing, feeding her spirit. Tell her that she's beautiful, she's wonderful. This is the flesh of your flesh. What God did with Adam and Eve, you did on your own. What God did with Adam and Eve, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, is what you did on your own. You chose to do it with this woman. You got to nourish this woman. You got to feed her. That's mentally, spiritually, and physically. And you got to cherish her. What does cherish her mean? I ain't taking her for granted. I'm not minimizing her role in my life, nor her importance, nor her position. I'm going to cherish her. She is a priceless thing to me. And at all costs, I must protect it. That's how the man should look at his woman, ladies. That's who you submit to. Not Pookie and Ray Ray and them. You submit to the man that's going to nourish and cherish. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. The same thing with the man and woman becoming one flesh. Let's continue.
Feel like the masculine, the rise of masculinity in women and Black women is something. It's two parts. It's something that we have to work on, and it's something our men have to work on. Our men have to work on their level of masculinity to make us feel safe being soft, submissive women. I've seen very combative women, like women, and they get around men that are very healthy, masculine, and they put, they say hey, and they be like, you right. You know what I mean? It's that, let me shut up. we like, most women like when their man puts their foot down a little bit, that little turn me on a little bit. But yeah, so as far as the masculinity thing, like I said, I think that's two parts. But of course, as women, we do need to learn how to sometimes soften, even though, this world has kind of made us very hard, to have to survive some of the things that we have survived. But yeah, we do have to soften up sometimes. And, sometimes just like, you know what? Okay. See, okay, babe.
How do you?
Now, this young lady on the screen right here, two things. First thing is she believes in polygamy or polygyny. So she believes in being a sister wife or being there with multiple women. Like, she agrees with that. So again, I'll just dissect what she said. So the first thing is, ladies, a man can't make you submit. You either are submissive, meaning you know how to submit to a mission, or you don't. Women submit to their boss all the time. They submitted to college. They submitted to the things. People submit all the time. So the submission thing isn't the issue. Like, people submit all the time. So the issue is, can you submit to a righteous man? That's the question here, because everybody submits. So in her case, a man can't make a woman submit. A woman has to first submit to God to even understand what submission even is and what it looks like. So most women sustain damage out here and go through all this stuff through bad relationships by picking the poor man, giving the wrong guy access. Most women get stressed out in life by poor male choices, picking Pookie and Ray Ray and them. And Pookie and Ray Ray and them ain't just quote unquote Black. That is a mindset of a man. That means the man, not the type of man that I'm saying right now, that would make his woman and himself one flesh, his wife, that would die for his wife. That ain't Pookie. That type of man, that type of honorable man, ain't what most women go after. They go after men that look the part. They look the part. He looks like that type of guy. He looks masculine, and he's not. Most people would think that Future was the epitome of being masculine, or LeBron James, or these. They're not. And you know how I know? When they open their mouth. The righteous man, the real man, is making sure that everything around him is better. Even the story in the Bible when Yeshua fed the thousands, it was the thousand, it was a lot of people, it was 10,000 men plus women and children, probably about 25,000 people out there. But even when he started feeding the people, even the scenery changed because they were like a desert. They said that the shade grew for the people. What I'm telling you is that what a man's going to do is make sure everything around him is good. And the little boy kicked it off. The disciples were talking about how they wanted to pay for the food. The little boy said, well, I'm going to give y'all what I got. That's what got the blessing to occur for everybody. It was the sacrifice of the little boy, the humility. That's what you submit to, ladies, is a man that's humble and willing to sacrifice. The little boy gave all he had just to feed the people. The man you all submit to will give all he have just to feed the family. That's who you submit to. Not these other guys. If you're in charge of bringing children to this world, then that's how valuable you are to this big plot, plan, or scheme, whatever we got going on today. That's how valuable you are. You all are so valuable in that aspect that they want to replace women. They want to stop women from having natural births because they know as long as you all are having natural births, that means you have sex with a man. That means some type of family structure is possible. They got to get rid of it. And the men aren't going to change. So they got to change the women. They got to convince women that their body is nothing. They got to convince women that their body is not what it's really intended to be. And that's to be the portal from which life is supposed to come through. So precious that the man's supposed to risk his life for it. So when we talk about submission, we should not be submitting. We should not be submitting, ladies, to anybody that is willing to be your Messiah. And I'm not saying that as a position thing. I'm saying that he's willing to sacrifice his life because he loves you that much. That's what we submit to. Nothing else. That's the standard for submission.
Yeah, we do have to soften up sometimes. And, sometimes just like,
And the man, ladies, again, cannot make you all submit. It's not going to happen. You got to get with the man you're willing to submit to. He can't make you submit. You got to get with the man that you're willing to submit to because you see the vision. You see the mission. You're saying, this is the man I want to become one flesh with. This is the man I want to submit to. This is the man I want to be a wife to. Not nobody else.
well, okay. See, okay, babe.
How do you define submission? Or how do y'all define submission?
Whew. Submission is selflessness instead of selfishness. Submission is engagement, it's adaptability, it's responsiveness, it's emotional safety, security, expression. It's an art. And when it comes to submission, it's mutual, but it's voluntary as well. So it's not just one-sided, it's both genders, both partners, equal, okay? And I love submission because to me, it's in the form of an art. It's somebody who has to give someone the pieces of them that they won't give to someone else.
Right.
And I hate the fact that society has influenced people to believe that submission is subservience and slavery and control and manipulation when it's not. It's something that a person has to be willing to give. It's not forced.
Again, a man's submission and a woman's submission does not look the same. A man's submission and a woman's submission does not look the same. If they look the same, nothing would ever get done. The man's submission is different because the man submits to the things that are usually outside of the home, meaning that I got to submit to keep the devil out of this house. His submission is to God first, obviously, and then to the woman, but his submission is different. Most women here, we both got to submit, as in he tell me what to do and I tell him what to do. And it's 50-50. That's not how that works. As a woman, you got to trust that man's leadership. As a man, he has to be trustworthy to lead. So it is submission taking place. It is submission. But a submission is different for the man and the woman. When the Bible says submit one to another, yeah, y'all supposed to love each other. You're supposed to love each other. So at the end of the day, if I love you, then I'm giving you what? 110%. You talk about things, love is 50. You're talking about relationship is 50-50. That is a worldly concept. Relationship is 100-100. I give 100%, you give 100%. A relationship is 100-100. We both giving 100%. Matter of fact, let's both give 110%, so we don't miss the mark. Relationships are 100-100. I'm giving you hundreds. If I can, I give you more than that, I'll give you 200. Teddy Pendergrass said not 70-30, not 60-40. I'm talking about a 50-50 love. I'm talking about 100-100 love. I'm giving 100, and she giving 100. We giving our all to the relationship. And guess what? In a relationship, sometimes you're going to feel like you're getting cheated. You're going to feel like your partner's getting over. The devil going to attack now. In a relationship, you're going to feel like you're getting cheated and your partner's getting over. You're going to feel like that. The devil is always going to attack the relationships. Always. The devil is coming. He coming to attack like a roaring lion. He coming. In your head, you'll be thinking, man, she getting over. You're going to think, man, I'm doing all this. He getting over. That's the devil, though. Because it's the man's job to be doing what? To be nurturing and to be cherishing. It's the woman's job to be doing what? To be submitting themselves like they did to God. This is how we avoid all this stuff. Ladies, submit to your husband. You submit to the man like you submitting to God. That's total honor. That's total reverence. That's total honor. That's total reverence. That's total respect. And guess what? Your husband should be honoring you like he's God. That means loving you unconditionally to the point of death. But submission for men and women look different. Don't look the same. And society is telling you it's supposed to.
I'm the best. I make you good. And the minute I say that you're no longer good, you're no longer good. Because I could think that you're awesome on Monday because I'm in love with you for the next 5 minutes. And then on Tuesday, when I hate you, you're terrible.
The more you know, bro.
Now, most of y'all on here gonna hear her say that and say that's crazy, but a lot of women listen to these women because they've tied women's empowerment, meaning this, what I'm telling you is going to empower you. This is why all this stuff is so appealing to women, because they believe it's going to make them more powerful like a man. I call that the wanting to pee standing up syndrome. You know, you was younger, girls try to pee standing up. You know, I call it the wanting to pee standing up syndrome, wanting a penis because you want to feel like you have the power of a man. But the problem is what she's talking about is conditional. Again, she is one of these modern feminist women in the porn industry. She was a dang near a prostitute, sleeping with it. Like she was one of the original, what they call it, video vixen. Like she's the one that was out there sleeping around, getting paid, all this stuff, and then she ended up with nothing. So what I'm telling you all is what these people are giving you all is to destroy the family. I've given you all the blueprint for the family and what the man should be and who the man should be and what gives them or what should prompt you to submit to a man. Is that the man literally walking like the Messiah. So when you see him, you should see a literal, this man looking like he the Messiah walking on water. That's what you submit to. Now, many folks gonna say nobody can meet that standard, but you can meet the standard because the standard is just character. It's just a man being honorable, having principle, not complaining, not being a coward, a man being a man. What it used to mean to be a man. Now it's something else. Now they want to tell you that a man is a woman. This is why though, because men aren't going to change. So they got to get y'all to believe that a man is a woman. So once a man is a woman, he no longer adopts the ideologies of a man. And when the ideology, a righteous point of a man. So being a woman as a man takes away the righteous stance of a man. And that talks about that being able to guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. That stuff goes away. Now we have no more family. This is why the movement is so dangerous, the transformer movement. This is why it's so dangerous, because the goal of it is to destroy the complete destruction of the family and the complete subjugation of the women, because weak men terrorize women. They terrorize children. The weak men do this. So their goal is to make men weak so that the men don't respect and honor women or the children. So men don't look at women as their own flesh.
Bro, they can leave at any moment. Focus on you.
Not perfect, you know. Marriage is work.
And that's
marriage is work.
It
I'm
is.
not here. Let me.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not gonna be here like, you know, everything.
Everybody had a problem with that clip. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna play it on Instagram. I hope I still got it. I don't. Oh, I got it.
Not perfect, you know. Marriage is work.
And that's
marriage is work. I'm not here. Let me.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not gonna be here like, you know, everything is wrong. You have to work hard, you know, to stay married, you know, and stay together. You know what I'm saying? Perfect, you know. Marriage is work.
And that's
marriage is work. I'm not here. Let me.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not gonna be here like, you know, everything is wrong. You have to work hard, you know, to stay married, you know, and stay together. You know what I'm saying?
Now, everybody had a problem with this clip. They said the way he said it, you know, but she interrupted him, and we don't know how often this has happened. But he didn't respect her though. He said, "Let me finish." Like he ain't cuss her out. He ain't look at her crazy. Like he said, "Let me finish." But a lot of women had a problem with this. A lot of women, and it lets me know that again, most of what we see out there is feminism. If this man is talking, if the interviewer asks him a question, then just let him finish. He didn't even say, you can't talk. He just said, let me finish, because a man's going to want to do what? Get his point across. One of the pet peeves of a man is not being able to have his voice be heard, not his point of view to not be stated. That's why Kanye was talking about how him saying he liked Trump, couldn't be able to say that he liked Trump was eating at him. But as a man, it's eating at him. It ain't nothing to do with Trump or politics. It's just the fact that somebody's telling you that you can't say something as a man. It's demasculating. So most men want to be able to get their point across. You know, back in the day, a man's word was his bond. All the deals were made back in the day due through a verbal agreement. It was verbal, you know? And so men want to be able to speak their mind, you know? For most men, that's all they want, is to just get off their chest. But most folks had a problem with him in this clip right. I'm gonna play it again for YouTube.
Thing is, bro, you have to work hard, you know, to stay married, you know, and stay together. You know, marriage is work. I'm not here.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm not gonna be here and like, you know,
Hate you.
Focus on you.
I'm perfect. You know, marriage is work.
And that's
Marriage is work.
it
I'm not here.
is. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm not gonna be here and like, you know, everything is, bro. You have to work hard, you know, to stay married, you know, and stay together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So again, we talk about submission, and really submission is an act of love. And I submit to you because I love you. And I'm not taking it personal. You know, she interrupted him. He said, let me finish. But what he said is right. He said marriage takes work, because he wanted to make the point that marriage takes work. And at the end of the day, anything worth having is worth fighting for. Anything worth having costs to get. Nothing good. No, there's a song that says, or is saying, the best things in life are free. They are. Because the best things in life come with a choice. So like, you choose to love. You know, people talk about, well, you got taken advantage of. You shouldn't be taken advantage of ever in life. You know why? Because we choose to get the advantage. I choose to love people. So you can take advantage of me if I choose to love you. If I choose to do good to you, how you taking advantage of me? You can't. I'm giving it to you. But most folks be feeling butthurt because they give themselves and folks misuse it. But you shouldn't even feel butthurt, because they listen, you giving to somebody's reflection on you. You can't be upset how they receive it. Your job is to love, not to determine how the love is received. And guess what? If you're giving yourself to your spouse and they don't want to reciprocate it, then guess what? You got a choice to make. Because that is a vow, that is just honoring you all's vows to each other. That man's supposed to love you like he loves his own flesh. If he ain't doing it, guess what he's saying? He don't want to be married. I'm not making this up. This is what the Bible says. He's supposed to love you like his own flesh. If he ain't love you like his own flesh, then guess what? If he ain't love you like his own flesh, then guess what? So to me, the work is how much you're going to love each other. How much you gonna love each other, period. Ain't no, they say love ain't got no limits. Well, if love don't have a limit, then y'all shouldn't have no problem. If love doesn't have a limit, then we shouldn't have a problem. Because there's no cap on how much love I can give. But I'm telling you, the man's supposed to love you like he loves himself. So if he loves himself, he ain't finna sabotage himself. She probably talk over him a lot. She probably does. But guess what? He probably get tired of talking over him a lot. Like, let me finish. Like, it would get irritating. Think about it. It would get irritating every time you talking. She jumping in and talking. It would get irritating for a man. He gonna be irritated. Like, let me finish. But guess what? He didn't disrespect her. He didn't say she couldn't speak. That man just said, "Let me finish." And I understand that. Let me finish as a man. I got two more. I'm gonna just stop it right here. So basically, what have we learned, ladies and gentlemen? We learned today that submission is an act of love. It's not emotional. Ladies, we've learned that you're going to submit to God first, then submit to the man. Ladies, we also learned that if the man doesn't have a vision or a mission, something to submit to, you shouldn't submit to him. So the man should have a clear vision and clear goals in life, a clear direction, and it should be righteous and godly. That's what we submit to. And fellas, if we're not willing to make a woman our flesh, if we're not willing to look at a woman as we look at ourselves, then guess what? We shouldn't be with that woman. This ain't just for the women, it's for the men too. If you see a woman and you don't see yourself being able to look at her and say, I want her to be flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone, then guess what? Don't deal with her. Because you sabotage her and you holding her up because you know you don't see her like that. A lot of men out here dating and the women aren't really wifey, but you dating the woman anyway. It's not right because you being deceptive. You know you don't see her as a wife, so you shouldn't be dating her because dating is to get to date a marriage. So fellas, stop wasting women's time and acting like they wifey. It cut off on Instagram. I'm sorry. Instagram cut off. But let me close up YouTube. Sorry. It's time to go. Hold on, YouTube. 1 second. So, sorry, YouTube.
Another element of the tactics of the Jewish organizations, which my case illustrates, is their.
So, I say all that to say that, fellas, you all should not be wasting these women's time. You all know whether or not you see her as wife. This is a person's life. The person's life is not designed for you to have fun with. If you're taking up her time, her energy, money, body, spirit, all this stuff, then it needs to be righteous. When I say righteous, I'm not leading a woman on. I'm not doing all these things with her, and I don't see her as a wife. That's deceptive, that's wicked, and that's evil. So, fellas, what you got to do is start giving your time to the woman you actually see a future with, period. Anything else is deception, and you wasting your time and her time. So, ladies, submit to a man with a mission. Submit to a man that's willing to be the Messiah in your life. And fellas, you submit to the woman that you are willing to make flesh of your flesh and bone of your bone. The woman that you are willing to lay down your life for. So I love you all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll be back in a couple of days. I don't know the topic, but I want to thank the person that sent me the video with the young lady, Pop by Cherry. She's on YouTube. Y'all can follow her. And one more thing. I'll say that. I love y'all and thank y'all so much. I'll see you all soon.